Rarity sausages into the gilded ballroom, her piercing gaze sweeping over the opulent scene. Under the dazzling chandelier, Canterlot's creme de la creme preen and shriek, their laughter clinking against the crystal-like mismatched cutlery. She wrinkles her muzzle in distaste at the peacocking attendees, flaunting garish plumage they mistake for high fashion. But she swallows her ire with the practiced poise of a swan gliding over an ugly pond. Socialize she must, perhaps fortified by a glass of wine or three. Her own gown spills in rippling violet waves, an original hoof-stitched silk and satin masterpiece. Her mane sweeps up elegantly, not a single lavender hair astray. The string quartet strains against the din, their genteel waltz drowned out by the herd of chattering ponies. Familiar faces beam, champagne raised between schemes and murmurs, but she knows better than to trust their polite masks. This nest of old money and grudges was no ordinary affair. Each conversation was a delicate dance of veiled barbs and power plays. One wrong hoof step and you're finished. But she wouldn't slip up, of course. Perfect poise was the key to charming her way into Canterlot fashion tonight. Win over this viper's nest, and doors would open. She glances sidelong at her +1. Remember what we discussed, darling. Smile vacantly and say nothing until introduced. Never stray more than a tail's length from my side. Alright, what do we do? Bonus points if we drive Verity to death metal growling during the party. Oh no. Sneeze so loudly it silences the room, and allows some nobles get hammered on wine. Right, calm and collected, stay bland as everyone else here to not stand out. Anon echoes her sentiments, eyes scanning the crowd and straightening his suit one last time before turning back to Rarity. So, what's the goal for tonight, Rares? Who are we buttering up? Ah, so you were paying attention to during our lesson on Canterlot etiquette, Rarity remarks with a pleased smile, batting her eyelashes coquettishly at Anonymous. As for our mark, I have my sights set on a particularly influential pony. Fancy Pants is an icon of high society whose endorsement could propel my couture to new heights. But one does not simply approach him. We must dazzle and charm our way into his inner circle first. She scans the sea of faces, ears perking. Aha! There's Flower de Lis, his prized protege. Let's start by winning her over with some scintillating small talk, shall we? Just follow my lead. Rarity links her forelimb with Anonymous's arm and steers him towards the statuesque unicorn. Her gait smooth and sure, she tosses her luxurious mane, putting on a winning smile and calls out a friendly greeting. Flower, darling, simply marvelous to see you. Hello, Rarity, darling, Flower exclaims, air-kissing the fashionista on both cheeks. Brave to see you as well, and who is this dashing creature on your arm, pray tell? The supermodel arches an elegant brow as she appraises Anonymous, unused to seeing such a creature at these soirees. She strikes a dramatic pose, flicking her voluminous mane over her shoulder. I must say, your ensemble is magnifique. The cut, the color, it's parfait. You simply must share the name with your designer. Her gaze darts between Rarity and Anon expectantly, eager to unravel the mystery behind this curious pairing in their très chic attire. I am not good with French. Come, walk with me in dish. I'm positively dying to hear all about your latest creative ventures, but don't spare me any of the juicy details. With that, she links her free forelimb with Rarity and steers the trio towards the gardens, ready for some riveting beat-that-teeth. I don't know. What, Flower, you flatterer? Rarity trails with a coy smile. I'm afraid I simply must keep my tailor a secret. A lady never reveals her tricks after all. She winks conspiratorially at Anonymous before turning back to Flower. But enough about Ma. I'm positively dying to hear about your latest photo shoot. The sneak peeks in Vanity Mare were simply divine. As they stroll through the moonlit gardens, Rarity keeps one ear cocked for useful gossip. And how's dear Fancy Pants these days? We're meeting to discuss a potential collaboration. He trails off meaningfully, studying Flower's reaction. Rarity knows she must tread carefully. Fancy Pants' endorsement could be a coup, but coming on too strong could send Flower skittering away like a spooked filly. Batting her eyelashes, Rarity smiles warmly and waits for Flower's response, hoping her social finesse will secure them a promising lead tonight. Let him cook for one more response? I'm not really seeing many opportunities here to do much. Unless we just want to, screw it up completely, pull out our gun and start shooting into the air. Oh la la, secret admirer. You simply must introduce us sometime. Flower trills with a sly wink. As for my latest shoot, it was incredible. I got to model Coco Bubble's new haute couture line for Paris Fashion Week. The theme was returned to nature and featured some stunning floral arrangements. She strikes another glamorous pose, flicking her tail dramatically. Fancy was there, too, of course. You know how much he loves supporting the rising talent. Which reminds me. He fixes Rarity with a pointed look, eyes narrowing shrewdly. He mentioned you've been sending him quite a few collaboration proposals lately. Now, I adore you, darling, but you're not the only designer vying for his attention. If you want to make an impression, you'll need to show him what sets your brand apart. She tosses her lustrous mane, grinning mischievously. So tell me, what's your bold new vision? And how do you plan to dazzle him at the upcoming Royal Canterlot Fashion Show, Smile and wave, boys. Alright, folks, looks like the majority has spoken. A record scratch on the live orchestra somehow, and just everyone in the party looking over to Anonymous as he says that. Alright, let's see how bad this goes. Rarity tosses her mane and lets out a nervous titter, cheeks flushing scarlet. Oh, Anonymous, darling, you're incorrigible. You're incorrigible. She tries playfully while shooting him a pointed, warring glance. Turning back to Flower with an ingratiating smile, she clears her throat delicately. What my dear associate means to say is I've been experimenting with some daring new designs that blend form and function in unprecedented ways. Think sleek silhouettes meets athletic wear. Perfect for the modern mare on the go. Leans in conspiratorially. He is perked forward. I'd be delighted to show you a sneak peek sometime. Perhaps we could arrange a private viewing at my boutique. I'd so value your expert opinion before the big reveal. Shirley bats her long eyelashes winsomely, hoping to steal the conversation back on track. One wrong move and Flower might start to doubt her fashion prowess, or worse, her taste in companions. Flower's eyes widen with interest. Ooh, functional fashion, you say? Très innovant. You simply must give me a private preview of this bold new line. But of course, proof is in the pudding, as they say. She cocks her head to the side, a slight smile playing on her lips. I have an idea. Why don't you debut one of your pieces at the upcoming Wonderbolts Derby? It's the place to see and be seen. All of Canterlot's elite will be there, including a certain dapper stallion we both know. Flower winks knowingly. Impress them on the field, and I'm certain you'll have fancy eating out of your oven in no time. But naturally, I'd be delighted to model for you. With my star power and your cutting-edge designs, we'll be unstoppable. She claps her hooves together excitedly, eyes sparkling with anticipation. What do you say, darling? Shall we show these ponies how it's done? We already fixed your mistake, chat, so everything is fine. Where do we go from here? Wink, totally no conspiracy at Rarity. What, like we're helping her? The I've got your back kind of wink? Rarity's ears flattened nervously at Anon's unsubtle wink. Honestly, that cult could use some lessons in discretion. Still, she pastes on a winning smile and nods eagerly at Flower's proposal. My darling, that's a positively brilliant idea. I'd be honored to have you showcase my designs at such a prestigious event. With your beauty and charisma, I'm sure we'll turn every head on the field. She tosses her mind already whirring with the grandiose visions of fashion glory. I'm thinking something sleek and sporty, but with a touch of haute couture glamour. Perhaps a streamlined bodysuit with gem-encrusted panels to catch the light? Ooh, I can picture it now. Rarity clasped her hosts together, practically vibrating with creative energy. Thank you ever so much for this thrilling opportunity, Flower. I promise I won't let you down. Meet me at the boutique tomorrow and we'll make some magic happen. Oh, Rarity, I just knew you would love the idea. Your mind is like a dazzling diamond, always shining with creativity. Flower gushes, clasping her hosts together in delight. A sleek bodysuit with a bejeweled accent? Magnifique! It will be like watching a comet streak across the sky. All eyes will be drawn to my luminous silhouette. And with your impeccable taste, I have no doubt it will be an absolute sensation. She glances at the grandfather clock chiming in the corner and gasps dramatically. Sacre bleu! Is that the time? I'm afraid I must take my leave, darlings. These oaths have a lot of stone... have a haute stone massage... Oh, okay. These oaths have a haute stone massage appointment to keep. Flower places a parting air kiss on each of Rarity's cheeks. Au revoir for now, mon ami. I will see you bright and early at the boutique. Until then, adieu. With a final flick of her tail, the supermodel sachets away into the crowd, leaving a trail of dazzled admirers in her wake. Rarity's gonna pull us into a corner and... Yep, okay. Rarity lets out a sigh of relief as Flower sachets away, then rounds on Anonymous with a stern glare. Fine of saddles and socks, really, darling. I know you were just trying to help, but please try to be a bit more discerning with your suggestions in the future. She shakes her head, mane swishing. No matter, what's done is done. I must admit, Flower's idea is simply genius. Debuting my new designs at the Wonderbolt's Derby will surely get Fancy Pants' attention. Verity begins to pace, muttering to herself. Sleek, sporty, with a hint of sparkle. Yes, I can see it now. This is going to be marvelous. No pony will be able to look away. She beams at Anon, previous annoyance forgotten in the face of impending fashion glory. Come along, dear, we have work to do. Flower wants to be saddled by Rarity. Rarity wants to kill Anon. Not so fast, dear. Perhaps we should stick around the spell, Anon says as his eyes rake across the crowd around them untrustingly. Oh man, too bad I got this all written before I saw that vote changed. I guess we have to go with the second option this time. I suppose you're right, darling, Rarity muses, scanning the ballroom with narrowed eyes. One can never be too careful in high society. Every pony here would stab you in the back as soon as air kiss you on the cheek. She tosses her mane, considering their options. Let's do a quick lap around the room and see what gossip we can glean. Keep your ears perked for any mention of the Wonderbolt's Derby of Fancy Pants. Do try to be a bit more subtle with your suggestions this time, Verity links her foreleg with Anon's arm once more, steering them towards a cluster of well-coiffed ponies. Smile, darling, she murmurs through her teeth. And remember, confidence is key. Act like you belong here and every pony will believe it. With that, she pastes on a dazzling grin and approaches the group, ready to charm and disarm. I wonder what kind of mares might be in that group, What kind of mares might be hanging around in high society that would be out for Rarity? I forget how she talks. Hold on, I don't think her way of talking is actually all that, proper. Let me... The uppity voice, yeah, it's sort of like a, diluted Valley Girl sort of way of speaking, I guess. Not full on, oh my god, but it has a little bit of that. Stereotypical aunt. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, honestly. Suri lazily drapes herself over a chaise lounge, a stemmed glass of champagne clutched between her hooves. She eyes Rarity and Anonymous's approach with a jaded smirk. Well, if it isn't Rarity and her little pet human. She draws nasally. Slumming it with the common folk again, are we? The fashionista takes a languid slip of bubbly, savoring the look of irritation that flashes across Rarity's face. You know, I ran into Fancy Pants earlier, she remarks with feigned nonchalance. Let's just say he didn't seem terribly impressed by your latest creations. But then, it must be so hard to innovate when you're weighed down by mediocre small-town tastes. Siri crosses her forelegs, radiating smug self-satisfaction. If you want my advice, which you clearly need, ditch the hick stick. This is Canterlot, darling. No pony cares about down-home charm here, okay? Rarity's got this. Let Rarity eat her alive. All right. Rarity flicks her tail, snorting derisively. Oh, Suri, you poor deluded thing. Your petty little jabs are as dull and uninspired as last season's hemlines, he says, shaking her head with mock pity. Small-town charm? Ha! As if you'd recognize true style if it bucked you in the face, darling. When you see hick, I see heritage, authenticity. Ponyville isn't some podunk backwater. It's where I draw my strength and inspiration. Rarity lifts her chin defiantly, and for your information, I have something utterly groundbreaking in the works that's going to absolutely dazzle Fancy Pants and every pony else at the Wonderbolt's Derby. Just you wait. She flips her mane haughtily, fixing Suri with an icy glare. Now, if you'll excuse us, I have more important ponies to mingle with. Au revoir. And with that, Rarity turns on her heel and trots off, leading Anonymous in search of more promising prospects. Very loose mare, oh no. How would we write that? As many gentlemen callers, oh no. We gotta do it in a classy way. Go for the damn throat. Are we gonna try to murder her here? I feel like Rarity would approve of something more subtle. I mean, we could just go for that, but ask her to pay for the ice cream. Oh no. I smirk at Rarity's effective deconstruction, meeting Suri's eyes. By the way, the stitching on her last lineup was rather sloppy and loose, Suri. Maybe you should be spending less time around those male models of yours and more time learning a sewing machine, And I'm sure both would tighten up. You spend less time loosening yourself on those male models. There we go. I really want to see what Suri does with that. Mostly to see if Claude actually gets the implication we're going for, too. So, I smirk at Rarity's effective... Oh, whoops. Person. Anon. smirks at Rarity's effective deconstruction meeting Suri's eyes. By the way, the stitching on your last lineup was rather sloppy and loose, Suri. Maybe you should be spending less time loosening yourself on those male models of yours and a little more time learning a sewing machine, And then I'm sure both would tighten up. Anon gives her a smug wink before turning to follow after Rarity. Suri's nostrils flare indignantly, eyes flashing with fury. Like, excuse me? I don't need sewing machine lessons from some two-bit hayseed. She slams her glass down, liquid sloshing. Listen up, reader boy. Insult my technique again and I'll have you neutered, okay? Suri bares her teeth in a menacing grin. Stick to trotting in circles and let the big girls handle fashion. I mean, that's what you're good at, right? Suri flicks her mane dismissively, regaining composure. Anyway, Rarity, have fun playing designer dress-up or whatever. Let me know when you're ready to stop slumming it in Lameville, okay? She tosses back the last of her drink. Ja, losers, I've got a real party to attend to. Suri saunters off, leaving a cloud of expensive perfume and disdain in her wake. Rarity snorts angrily, mane bristling as Suri trots away. Oh, that despicable, conniving little... She stamps a hoof, grinding her teeth. Whirring to face Anon, she tosses her mane irritably. Can you believe the nerve of that mare, questioning my talents? Ha! Rarity takes a deep, calming breath, collecting herself. No matter. We'll show that two-bit knockoff artist what real fashion looks like soon enough. He scans the crowd with narrowed eyes, ears flattening, but Suri may have had a point about one thing. We need to start rubbing elbows with the real players if we want to get anywhere tonight. Rarity's gaze lands on a cluster of finely dressed unicorns, their jewel-toned suits and gowns glinting under the chandeliers. There, that looks like a promising group. Follow my lead, darling. Thinking her hoof with Anon's forearm once more, Rarity strides towards the gaggle of upper-crust ponies with determination in her eyes. Suri is not coming back from that coffin dance for Suri. Oh, that's why this song is called Painful Disorientation. Alright, the song that plays when somebody trips with all the expensive drinks. As they approach the glittering gloop, Rarity leans in close to whisper in Anon's ear, her warm breath tickling his cheek. Now remember, darling, these parties can make or break a reputation with a single word. So let's keep things light and breezy, shall we? And do try to avoid any more crass remarks about stitching and tightness. She shoots him a pointed look before turning to the assembled unicorns with a dazzling smile. Why, hello there, every-pony. Don't you all look absolutely radiant tonight? I'm Rarity of Ponyville, and this is my associate, Anonymous. She gestures elegantly with her hoof, her ears perked forward attentively. I couldn't help but notice your stunning ensemble, dear. He gushes to the nearest mare. That gown is simply to die for. Tell me, who is your designer? Always on the hunt for fresh talent to collaborate with. Flower. I'm not sure what other mares we could introduce. None for blue blood. Oh, there is one for spoiled rich. Oh, that might be a... Yep, that's a fetish card. Okay. Take a random mare's hoof in your hands and kiss it, chivalresque. Oh, we do have the Milk Mare of Trottingham that recently got released. I think it's reasonably written and not entirely just big booba. Okay, so this Milky is just doing her own thing off in Ponyville, I guess. This is completely unrelated to the rest of the story. Let's give that another try. Usually the AI doesn't do that. Rarity, is that you, darling? I say as her Milky Mare says, what the hell's her name? Milky Way says as her head turns. Oh my stars, it is you! She says, smiling as she trots over. I haven't seen you since last time I visited Ponyville. You're looking utterly resplendent this evening. That dress, my word! I've yet to see a more perfect marriage between fabric and form. But please, where are my manners? You said the strapping stallion with you is anonymous? Pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir. Any friend of Rarity's is a friend of mine. I look down at myself, feeling a little self-conscious in what suddenly felt like a plain blue dress. Gosh, I feel downright frumpy now. If I'd known you were going to be here, I'd have worn something a little more dazzling. Oh, Milky darling, you look positively stunning, Rarity gushes, beaming at her old friend. The shade of blue is simply divine on your coat, and the cut is chic. She waves a hoof dismissively. Pish-posh, there will be no talk of frumpiness on my watch. You're the belle of the ball, dear. Leaning in, she adds conspiratorially, and I must confess, this dashing colt on my arm has me feeling rather overdressed myself. Rarity bats her eyelashes playfully. Anonymous, darling, didn't you say you had a burning question for the illustrious Milk Mare? Something about her legendary Trottingham soirees? She nudges him encouragingly, hoping he'll take the hint to probe for youthful gossip. This chance meeting could prove quite fortuitous indeed. I stepped away and now I see we have the tit horse. Mr. FBI agent watching me now. Please know this wasn't my decision. Respectful sucklet. Cease! Cease immediately. John YouTube is gonna break down my fucking door and kill us all. Alright, Anon takes Milky's hoof in his hand, giving it a polite kiss and greeting. Pleased to make the acquaintance, Milky. And don't fret about your lovely dress. It's much easier on the eyes than some of the Rainbow Factory-inspired color vomit I see some of these ponies wearing. Anon takes a polite step back. And only then does he see the absolutely hopelessly eye-catching milk-filled orbs hanging beneath her. He struggles to keep his eyes from widening in complete shock at the sheer size of those things, clinging to propriety as hopelessly as clinging to a life raft in the middle of an ocean storm. He clears his throat, barely able to tear his gaze away as his eyes dart to anywhere that isn't the vague direction of the biggest pony melons he's ever seen. What's he supposed to be doing? Right, the gossip. Anon begins, awkwardly scratching the back of his head. I heard that, you have parties of your own in Trottingham, right? Anon finally forces out, eager for anything to distract him. Oh. She blushes and looks away. Yes, well, I have been known to throw a few get-togethers from time to time, though nothing as grand as this affair. She glances around the room. But they can get rather lively. Her smile turns nervous. It's all in good fun, of course. Just a chance for a few close friends to unwind and let our mains down. She chuckles awkwardly, clearly not eager to divulge details. You know how it is. Work hard, play hard, as they say. Quickly changing the subject before Anon can probe further. So, Rarity, what brings you to cancel out this fine evening? I believe you're not just here to trade pleasantries with little old me. Her tail swishes, host shifting as she awaits her reply. Hoping Anonymous won't press for more information about her notorious milk parties. I thought this card was clean. Warm and humble and chas like a big sister. Guiding and nurturing kind of pony. Spotlight makes her blush. She freezes up. When she was a filly, she felt self-conscious. Oh yeah, I forgot this card is freaking huge. I'm not reading through all that. There might be something lewd in there. I'm not... It's a huge card. Okay. Milk parties can be clean. I don't know if she's blushing that much. I raise an eyebrow at that. There we go. Well, darling, I'm actually here to debut some simply smashing new designs, Rarity gushes with a toss of her mane. Bartolus has agreed to model them at the upcoming Wonderbolts Derby. It's a perfect opportunity to get my couture in front of all the right ponies. He leans in close, voice dropping conspiratorially, including a certain discerning stallion whose endorsement would mean the world to me. But I don't want to jinx it by saying his name out loud. Rarity winks slyly. Suffice it to say, this could be a major turning point for my fashion house. I'm positively quivering with excitement. She turns to Anon with a dazzling smile. And of course, I couldn't do it without the support of my dearest friends. Why, Anonymous here has been an absolute rock throughout all the planning and preparation. I'm so lucky to have him by my side. Unless I see some other suggestions, I'm going with what Caliban said, because that's funny. Nope, no other suggestions? Alright, we're going with Caliban. Rares is here to put her best hoof forward with Fancy Pants. This party's been a huge treat. Anon stutters, mentally cursing himself for where his mind now is. Milky's eyes widen in surprise at Anon's slip of the tongue, but not wanting to embarrass the portier further, she gives him a playful wink. Yeah, it's Rarity always puts her best hoof forward in everything she does. Her passion and drive are truly inspiring. He places a reassuring hoof on Anon's shoulder. Sounds like quite the undertaking. Having such a supportive friend like yourself makes all the difference. Rarity's very lucky indeed. Glancing around conspiratorially. Now, I may be able to put in a good word with Fancy Pants. He's been known to make an appearance at my little soirees from time to time. Perhaps I could arrange an introduction. She smiles warmly. We mares like to stick together and help each other out. After all, anything for a dear friend like Rarity. I don't know, I keep almost slipping into Southern American accent for her. Milky darling, you're too kind, Rarity frills, nuzzling her friend's cheek in return. An introduction to Fancy Pants would be a dream come true. Claps her hooves together in delight, eyes sparkling. If you could arrange a meeting, I'd be forever in your debt. Then turning to Anonymous with an exasperated but fond smile, she says, That's for you, Mr. Silvertongue. You try to get your mind out of the gutter, Well, here representing my brand, I need you focused on networking, not anatomy. Rarity flips her mane with a huff. Honestly, Colts, you're all the same. Show you a pretty flank and your brain turns to mush. She rolls her eyes but can't resist shooting Anon a teasing wink. Just keep your eyes up and your hopes to yourself, mister. We've got a derby to prepare for. Rarity's eyes widen and she whips her head around, cheeks flushing scarlet. Anonymous! She hisses under her breath. It's neither the time nor place. She swats his hand away from her flank with her tail. Composing herself, she tosses her mane and mutters, If you must know, yes, I may have attended a milk party or two back in my wilder days, but not exactly the sort of thing a lady discusses in polite company. She shoots him a quelling look. All you need to know is that they're rather infamous. There's a reason Milky was so cagey. Rarity sniffs primly. Personally, I find the whole thing a bit uncouth, but to each their own, I suppose. Fashionista glances around the room, hoping nobody overheard their scandalous exchange. Now can we please get back to the matter at hoof? We have a derby to plan for. Any card can be an SFW. Claude will ride it. He'll go along with anything. Yeah. I do think the rarity card in particular, though, does tend to get a little more so than a lot of other ponies. I got sure BGM's gear shift as he tried to find a polite way to tell me she's a horse. Relax, Rarity. There's no need to be so on edge. Anon takes Rarity's hoof, politely leading her away from Milky as the two excuse themselves. Come on, let's go get a few drinks. Still enjoying Manhattans? Old fashions? Something frou-frou with an umbrella? Rarity flicks her tail, tossing her mane with a sigh. Oh, very well. I suppose a little liquid courage couldn't hurt. She allows Anon to lead her towards the bar. Manhattan sounds divine, darling. Bless your nose, I could use something to take the edge off. Fashionista's eyes start around the room as they weave through the crowd, ever mindful of eavesdropping ears. Just hope no pony overheard our little tita-la-teet about Milky's soirees. Last thing I need is ponies thinking I'm some sort of wild party filly. Rarity shudders delicately at the thought. But enough about that scandalous business. We're here to schmooze and strategize, not gossip like fillies. She shoots out on a grateful smile as they reach the bar. Thank you for the drink, dear. You always know just what I need. Now, what do you say we find a quiet corner and really put our heads together about this derby business, Bribe a waiter to keep your drinks topped off while you move off into the gardens to discuss the derby. Rarity party is probably a little less exciting than running from a psychopathic Glimmy while marrying Lyra. I think there's potential in most of the situations. People were also just being really silly in the Glimmy one too, which was helping. We literally cried because Glimmy grabbed our wrist. Ask her if she can provide the chalky milk to put her little marshmallow behind in. Anon slips some extra bits to a waiter as they grab their drinks from the bar. Hey, keep us topped up, will ya? We'll be out in the garden, he says before leading Rarity through the mingling groups of ponies out the back. Come on, Rares. A little fresh air will go well with a nice drink. Turn about the garden subs loudly, darling. Rarity agrees, taking a delicate sip of her cocktail. The cool night air is refreshing after the stuffy ballroom. Peers up at Anonymous with a playful smile on her lips. You know, you're quite a smooth operator when you want to be. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were trying to get me alone. Rarity bats her eyelashes coquettishly, but there's a hint of genuine curiosity in her voice. She's always found Anon's directness both exasperating and intriguing, especially compared to the coy games and veiled barbs so common in high society. But I jest, of course. She demurs with a toss of her mane. We have far more pressing matters to attend to than idle flirtation. Still, Rarity can't help but wonder what exactly her enigmatic companion has in mind for little tita-teet under the stars. Got us out here and now I'm spurging out. Come on, Caliban. Surely you don't freeze up the moment Rarity expects you to make a move. Just softly caress her plot. No. Of course, Rarity. Far more pressing matters. Anon repeats, turning his full attention to her as they stand together under the stars. But this is a party, no? No reason we can't take a moment to enjoy it between all the social busy work. Anon turns his gaze up to the stars, taking in the beautiful night sky. It'd be a waste to spend the whole night on business after all. Well, I suppose you're right, darling. Rarity concedes, savoring another sip of her Manhattan. Smooth whiskey warms her from within, amber liquid glinting under the starlight. She tilts her muzzle up to admire the glittering expanse, mane spilling down her neck in silken waves. A little stargazing does sound rather romantic, I must admit. The unicorn inches closer to Anon, close enough to feel his warmth radiating against her coat. The faint scent of his cologne mingles pleasantly with the floral air. But you know me, always the workaholic. Rarity fills with a self-deprecating chuckle. Just can't seem to switch off this overactive brain of mine. Taps a hoof to her temple, smiling wryly up at her dashing companion. Her sapphire eyes sparkle with mischief in the mood. Perhaps you could help me with that, Rarity. There we go. Perhaps, Anon echoes. He cups her cheek, moving upwards to scritch behind Rarity's ear as it twitches cutely in response. I do hope there's nothing too risque going through that overactive brain. He teases playfully. Meeting her eyes. Have the charmer, aren't you, darling? Rarity responds with a coy smile as Anonymous scritches behind her ear. She leaned into his touch, twitching the sensitive appendage appreciatively. A hint of color rises in her cheeks, as if a lady would ever entertain such uncouth thoughts, especially about her dearest friend and collaborator, no less. Her tone is teasing, but a genuine affection shines in her eyes. I was merely hoping you could help me unwind from all this scheming and strategizing. A girl needs her beauty rest before a big event, after all. She tosses her mane in the center of her floor of shampoo wafting in the night breeze. Perhaps we should rejoin the party before our tongues start wagging. Last thing I need is rumors of a tour de faire circulating before the Derby. It was a bit more forward than I expected from Rarity, but it works. I don't know where to go with the story, honestly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Caliban. I feel like the best option would be to just skip ahead to the Derby or whatever. Weeks later, and Rarity's prepared a dazzling couture to debut for the Wonderbolt's Derby. Rarity paces nervously in a spare fitting room with Anon by her side, checking and rechecking to make sure everything is perfect on her new piece. This is her big opportunity to catch the attention of Fancy Pants, whose word goes a long way in boosting the careers of the fashion world. They eagerly await the arrival of Flower de Lis, who's to be the live model for Rarity's new fashion. Rarity paced the spare fitting room, hopes clacking nervously on the tile floor as she scrutinized every last detail of the couture piece. I do hope Flower gets here soon. There's still a few tweaks I want to make before the big reveal. She magically adjusted a ruffle here, a sequin there, her perfectionist's eye catching the tiniest imperfections. What if Fancy Pants doesn't like it? What if he thinks I'm just some silly small-town designer playing dress-up? Oh, I couldn't bear it. Rarity's ears drooped as anxiety gnawed at her insides. So much was riding on this moment. Her reputation, future, her dreams. It had to be perfect. She had to be perfect. And darling, you don't think it's too avant-garde, do you? Be honest now. She turned to her stalwart companion, eyes wide and seeking reassurance. You're right. Playing it safe is for uninspired hacks, not visionary artistes like moi. Rarity declared, a fire igniting in her eyes. She tossed her mane dramatically. This ensemble is the combination of my blood, sweat, and tears. Well, maybe not blood, but certainly pricked a hoof or two. The unicorn gestured to the daring design with a flourish. Mark my words, darling. When Flower trots down that runway, every eye will be riveted. Fancy Pants won't know what hit them. Just then, a commotion sounded from outside the dressing room. Rarity's ears perked up in alarm. Flower? Is that you? She magically flung open the door, only to gasp in shock. Uh-oh. Sweet Celestia, what happened? There in the doorway stood Flower, mane disheveled and gown torn, a look of distress marring her perfect features. Uh-oh. Oh, Rarity, it was horrible, Flower wailed, staggering into the dressing room. I was on my way here when that wretched Surrey... Oh, wow. Surrey Palomar and her goons ambushed me. They shredded my ground and threatened to ruin my career if I modeled for you. Mon Dieu, what are we going to do? The supermodel trembled, mascara-tinged tears streaking down her cheeks. Suri saunters through the crowd, flashing a saccharine smile as she saddles up to a cluster of well-heeled ponies. Can you, believe that dress Flower was supposed to model? She draws nasally, eyes glinting with malice. I mean, is Rarity really trying to embarrass herself? Fashionista flicks her mane dismissively. She totally stole the design from some poor up-and-coming designer in Philadelphia. Typical Rarity. Always leeching off some other pony's talents, okay? She rolls her eyes melodramatically. And don't even get me started on her friendship with that two-legged creature. Suri sniffs with disdain. I'm all for diversity, but some animals just don't belong at these events, you know? She tosses her head back with a mean-spirited laugh. That unicorn is such a social climber. But I guess when you come from a one-horse town like Ponyville, you'll cling to any pony with a shred of influence. It's tragic, really. Let's not go into other languages again. Oh dear, Coco frets to herself as she navigates the backstage labyrinth, searching for Rarity's dressing room. I do hope everything's alright. Suri's not usually one to mince words, but that's just plain cruel. The timid earth pony's brow furrows with uncharacteristic determination. Rarity's always been so kind to me. I simply must make sure she's okay. Coco takes a deep breath, mustering her courage as she approaches the door marked with Rarity's cutie mark. She raises a hoof to knock, then hesitates. Come on, Coco, you can do this. She mumbles under her breath. Rarity. It's Coco. Coco Pommel? I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. She shovels her hooves nervously. I overheard some rather nasty gossip out there, and well, I know how Suri can be. Her ears droop sympathetically. Is there anything I can do to help? I know we don't know each other super well, but I really do admire your work, and I hate to see any pony get treated so unfairly. The soft-spoken mare clears her throat, fighting the urge to bolt. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'll just go if you'd prefer, but please don't let Suri get you down. You're 10 times the designer she'll ever be. Coco Palma, you sweet, thoughtful mare, please come in. Rarity swings the door open, her smile strained but genuine. Can't tell you how much it means to hear a friendly voice right now. She ushers Coco into the room, where a distraught Flower is being comforted by Anonymous. He comforted. I'm afraid we've hit a bit of a snag. Poor Flower here was accosted by that wretched Suri and her minions. They've shredded the gown and threatened her career if she models my designs. Rarity's lip trembles, but she takes a steadying breath. But I won't let that two-bit hack's sabotage stop me. The show must go on. She starts pacing, her mind racing. Think, Rarity, think. There must be a solution. I mean, just clean Suri up? Her eyes land on Coco, widening with a sudden spark of inspiration. Coco, darling, I know this is dreadfully last minute, and feel free to refuse, but... Rarity clasps Coco's hooves in her own, eyes pleading. Would you consider modeling my design in Flower's place? You have such a lovely finger and a genuine warmth that I think would really shine on the runway. She gives Coco's hooves an imploring squeeze. I completely understand if you're not comfortable, of course. But I'm desperate and I can think of no better man for the job. You'd be saving my flank, darling. Rarity holds her breath, hardly daring to hope. Coco modeling her couture. It's a long shot, but it might just be the miracle she needs to salvage this fashion fiasco. Anon should go out to deal with Suri while Rarity gets Coco ready. Oh dear. Anon with a steel chair! Suri didn't know what hit her! Make her face up against Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
Suri Polymere, you might be able to stitch a dress, but no amount of stitches is gonna fix the wounds I give you in the ring. Meet me in the Thunderdome.
By the ear like a scolded filly. I think that would be funny. Anon's eyes gaze across the crowd before him, searching for any hint of pastel pink. Finding his mark, he heads over, plastering on a deceptively bright smile. Suri, he says brightly as he eyes the pink earth pony, draping an arm across her shoulders. A bit too roughly. There we go. He leans in close, meeting her eyes as a dangerous spark hangs in his. So what's with all the defaming remarks you've been telling the crowd about Rarity, He asks, eyes burning into hers even as the smile remains. Seems like you've been spouting a lot of lies, aren't you? Anon raises an eyebrow. Maybe it's best you stop that before any pony hears about what you do at Milky Way's little soy rays, Suri flinches under Anon's grip, her veneer of superiority faltering for a moment. Hoops off the merchandise, breeder boy. That freaking name. She hisses, shrugging off out of his hole with a disdainful sniff. I don't know what you're, implying, but I don't appreciate the baseless accusations, MK. She flips her mane, regaining her composure. I'm just, making conversation. Not my fault if ponies find Rarity's designs and connections a bit questionable. Her eyes narrow as she meets Anon's gaze, flicker of unease passing over her features at the mention of Milky Way's parties. And I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm a respected member of the fashion community. I don't engage in unseemly behavior. Suri leans in close, her sickly sweet perfume cloying. Let's get one thing straight, human. Threaten me again, and I'll make your life a living hell, okay? I've got connections that could get a creature like you kicked out of Equestria faster than you can say deportation. She pulls back, the saccharine smile returning. Now, if you excuse me, I have more important ponies to mingle with. Give Rarity my condolences on her little wardrobe malfunction. With a flick of her tail, Suri turns and sashays away, throwing a last bit of to look over her shoulder. Anon's smile doesn't falter at Suri's threats. I feel like it's unlikely we could just sneak up there without anyone noticing. There would probably be someone manning the projector or something. Let's try this. Anon simply pushes the bag of bits into her hooves. Forget I was here. Final catches the bag of bits with her magic, eyes widening behind her shades as she feels the weight of the pouch. This is some serious dough. Thanks for this many bits. You can hang out all night long, my dude. She flashes him a grin and gives a casual salute. I ain't seen nothing. She pockets the bits and kicks her hooves up on her DJ console, nodding her head to the beat pumping through her headphones. Just don't go messing with my gear, you dig? Gotta keep this party hopping. Anon gives a half-hearted salute in response, already turning his attention to the projector. He yanks out the flashy visual cards instead of replacing them with some very unsavory images of Suri Polymere, which will display brightly for all to see come show time. I might have to set this aside for an hour or two and then come back to it later tonight. There we are, right on time. Anonymous to get back at Suri and hopefully get her out of their hair, has replaced the images in the projector in the rafters with some rather unsavory images of Suri, which we'll display once the show begins. Rhino Scratch says she ain't seen nothing. Anon gives a half-hearted salute in response, already turning his attention to the projector. He yanks out the flashy visual cards, instead replacing them with some very unsavory images of Suri Polymere involving her, many other ponies, and a lot of milk, which will display brightly for all to see come showtime. Satisfied with this very big accident waiting to happen, Anon heads back down into the crowd. We should probably head back to Rarity and check on her, I suppose. Unless there's any other suggestions for what people want to do here. Okay, heading backstage once more, and opens the door to Rarity's dressing room. Suri shouldn't be a problem much longer. I guess we'll just go, how are things looking? Oh yeah, so, also another thing that happened is Coco Pommel came in to check in on us after catching Siri spreading bad rumors. So, last we were in here, Rarity asked Coco Pommel to do the, to wear the dress in place of, Flower de Lis, since Flower sort of just got messed up by Suri and her lackeys. Coco Pommel takes a deep breath, her heart racing as she meets Rarity's hopeful gaze. This is all happening so fast, but the pleading look in her eyes stirs something within her, a longing to be brave, to help a friend in need. Oh, Rarity, of course I'll model for you. She clasps her hooves in return, a determined smile spreading across her muzzle. I'd be honored to wear your beautiful designs on the runway. Her brow furrows with concern as she glances at Flower. I'm so sorry you had to go through that, Flower. Siri's behavior is just shameful. Turning back to Rarity, she straightens her shoulders, feeling a surge of confidence. I may not be a professional model, but I promise I'll do my very best to showcase your amazing talents, Rarity. You've worked too hard to let Siri's sabotage ruin everything. She pulls Unicorn in for a quick hug, careful not to muss her perfectly coiffed mane. We'll show that bully that true friendship and teamwork always triumph at the end. Designs are going to absolutely dazzle every pony, I just know it. Glancing over at Anonymous, she cocks her head curiously. Sounds like you've got a plan to deal with Suri too, huh? I can't wait to see the look on her face when Rarity's couture steals the show. She practically bounces with excitement, nerves and adrenaline buzzing through her. Look at Fashion World, Coco Pommel is ready to strut her stuff. Rarity feels tears of gratitude welling up as she returns Coco's fierce hug. Oh, Coco, you absolute darling. I can't begin to express how much this means to me. You're a true friend. Pulling back, she takes a steadying breath, her resolve hardening. You're right. We won't let Siri's vicious schemes win. We'll show all of Canterlot the power of generosity and goodwill. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking back to what we just did to the image projector, but oh well, that'll happen as it happens. She starts bustling around the room, magically gathering supplies. Now, we haven't a moment to lose. Let's get you in that couture and make any necessary adjustments. Flower, darling, would you be a dear and assist with Coco's mane and makeup? If anybody can make her shine like a star, it's you. Lara dabs at her smudged mascara, managing a watery smile at Coco's kindness and Rarity's determination. Coco, you sweet dear. Merci beaucoup for stepping in like this. I know you'll be absolutely magnifique in Rarity's stunning designs. Rising gracefully, she takes Coco's hoof and guides her to the vanity. But of course, darling, it'll be my pleasure to make you shine bright like a diamond. She begins rifling through the makeup kit, plucking out brushes and palettes. Now, let's see. For your complexion, I'm thinking a soft, romantic look. Rosy cheeks, fluttery lashes, and lip colors that will make your smile pop. As she works her magic, dusting and blending and highlighting, she catches Anon's eye in the mirror. And you, Monzo Anonymous, I do not know what tricks you have planned for that wicked Suri, but je vous remercie. Je vous remercie. Okay, je vous remercie from the bottom of my heart for your support. You are a true ami to our dear Rarity. Putting the finishing touches on Coco's look, she turns her to face the mirror with a flourish. Voila! Coco, ma chérie, you are a vision. Rarity, I do believe we have ourselves a new muse. She practically beams with pride, her earlier distress melting away in the face of such camaraderie and determination. Now let us go and show those fashion lead what true beauty and friendship means. Looks like, no? I don't know what the layout of this place is. If it's a derby area, then I guess there's probably just like a big crowd around like a center derby area. Okay, this show will be unforgettable for certain, Anon says as Coco heads to the waiting area, with Rarity, Flower, and himself getting front row seats amongst the crowd. There we go. I want to see every pony's reaction to what we did to the, This is gonna be interesting. Final Scratch bobs her head to the beat as she cues up the runway playlist, her magic flaring as she synchronizes the tracks. Oh yeah, time to get this party started. Glancing at the schedule, she sees it's almost time for the big visual showcase. She trots over to the projector, ready to fire it up and dazzle the crowd with some seriously cool graphics. Alright, let's see what we got here. She levitates the first slide into place, still jamming to the music pumping through her headphones. The projector flickers to life, and she flashes a grin at the audience below, expecting to see some slick fashion designs or flashy brand logos. As the image comes into focus, her jaw drops and her shades nearly slip off her muzzle. What the hey? She hastily cuts the visual's cheek, her cheeks burning beneath her fur as she tries to process what she just saw. Oh, that was some seriously spicy stuff. Definitely not PG. She shakes her head, trying to clear the mental image of Suri Polymer engaged in some decidedly risque activities with a bunch of other ponies, and is that milk? I don't even want to know. Guess that explains the fat stack of bits. She mutters, glancing around nervously to see if any pony else caught a glimpse of the scandalous slide. Thinking fast, she grabs the mic and cranks up the music. Sorry about that, folks. Just a little technical difficulty. But don't worry, the show must go on. Let's keep this party rolling. She quickly swaps out the offending slides for some generic graphics, her mind racing. She doesn't know what kind of scheme the human dude is playing up. She sure as hate doesn't want any part of it. Focusing on the music, she tries to shake off that unsettling incident and keep the energy high. One thing's for sure, it's gonna be one wild and crazy fashion show. She just hopes she can make it through without any more nasty surprises. And give the rest of the ponies a chance to actually react to what they're seeing, because I think that's funny. Rarity's jaw drops in shock as she sees a lewd image of Suri engaged in unspeakable acts splashing across the runway screen. The crowd erupts into shocked gasps and scandalized whispers. She whips her head around to look at Anonymous, eyes wide with horror. What in Celestia's name? Anon, did you have something to do with this? She hisses under her breath. Before you can answer, she hears Shuri's shrill screech echo through the auditorium. This is sabotage! I've been totally set up! The disgusted fashionista gallops out, tears of humiliation in her eyes. Turns back to Anon, her shock morphing into an uncertain frown. Darling, I appreciate you trying to help, but it seems rather extreme. I wanted to beat her with my designs, not destroy her. Just then the MC clears his throat. Let's try and forget about that unfortunate technical difficulty and move on with the show. Cheesy high school drama. Yeah, Rarity is a dramatic mare after all. She is the drama queen. Suri gallops out of the auditorium in tears, shrieks of laughter echoing behind her. Her carefully crafted reputation shattered in an instant. This is like a total nightmare, she wails to no pony in particular, mascara streaking down her cheeks. When I find out who did this, they're so finished in this industry. Finished, okay? She pauses to collect herself, glaring at her reflection in the window. Get together, Siri. This is just a minor setback. You're still the rising star of Canterlot Couture. All you need is a little damage control. An idea starts to form, her lips curling into a devious smirk, and I know just how to turn this around. Rarity may have won this round, but the fashion game is far from over. Just wait till I hit her with my real masterpiece. We comfort Siri. I'm sorry, Siri, but this is what happens when you're being a bitch. I'm sure she'll live, Anon answers nonchalantly. For now, you have a dress to show off, Anon says, as backstage Coco Palma prepares to model the Rarity's stunning new couture for the first time. Coco's heart races as she peeks through the curtains at the waiting crowd. Any minute now, she'll be trotting down that runway in Rarity's stunning couture. Okay, Coco, you can do this, she whispers to her reflection, straightening her shoulders. This is your chance to help Rarity's dreams come true. Just pretend you're the most confident, gorgeous pony in Equestria. Taking a deep breath, she steps out from behind the curtain as the music swells. The spotlights nearly blind her, but she keeps her chin up, showing off the elegant lines and intricate beadwork of Rarity's gown. It flows around her legs like a waterfall of silk and chiffon. Focusing on a spot at the end of the runway, she struts with all the poise and grace she can muster. She catches Rarity's eye in the audience, and she beams with pride, eyes shimmering with happy tears. In that moment, she feels like the luckiest pony in the world. Tears of pure joy stream down Rarity's face as she watches Coco command the catwalk in her couture. She looks so utterly resplendent. The gown hugs her curves in all the right places, shimmering under the spotlights. She can already hear the enraptured murmurs of the fashion elite. As Coco reaches the end of the runway, she poses with the poise of a seasoned supermodel. The crowd erupts into thunderous applause, hosts stamping in approval. Rarity's heart swells with pride, the drama with Suri all but forgotten in this moment of triumphant glory. She catches Coco's eye and mouths, "Thank you," her gratitude beyond measure. Glancing over at Anon, she raises an eyebrow. While she doesn't necessarily approve of his methods, she can't deny the results. Still, something tells her that Suri won't be so easily thwarted. They'll need to watch their flanks going forward. Laura turns to Anonymous with a dazzling smile, flicking her mane glamorously. Bonjour, with that stunning display, I have no doubt Fancy Pants will be simply enraptured. I would not be surprised if he trots over here himself to offer his felicitations to note of sheer rarity. The supermodel scans the crowd, her keen eyes searching for the dapper stallion in question. Aha! There he is, looking ever so distinguished as always. And oh, he seems to be making his way towards us. Rarity, ma chérie, prepare yourself. I do believe your moment has arrived. Laura gives her friend an encouraging wink as she subtly adjusts her posture to accentuate her already flawless features. Remember, darling, head high, smile bright, and dazzle him with your inimitable charm. This is your time to shine like the diamond you are. This early draft was named Farty Sharts, but that name was devoted to be too lowbrow for the fancy stallion. That's not funny. It's not funny. Rarity takes a deep breath, steeling her nerves as Fancy Pants approaches. This is the moment. The moment she's been dreaming of, a chance to impress the most influential stallion in Canterlot's fashion scene. Thank you for the pep talk, Flower Darling, she whispers, giving her hoof a grateful speech. No, do try to be on your best behavior. First impressions are everything. Putting on her most winning smile, she steps forward to greet the dapper unicorn, her jeweled hooves clicking on the marble floor. My fancy pants, what an absolute pleasure. I'm Rarity of Ponyville. I trust you enjoyed the show? She bats her eyelashes coquettishly, practically quivering with anticipation. Fancy Pants' endorsement could make her career. She has to win him over. But what if he found her design lacking? She don't think her poor heart could take the rejection. The influential stallion arches an eyebrow as he assesses the assemble, his monocle glinting under the lights. She keeps an elegant poker face, but inside she's simply dying to know what Fancy Pants thinks of Rarity's tour de force. The influential stallion arches an eyebrow as he assesses the ensemble, his monocle glinting under the lights. I must say that was quite the spectacle, he remarks in his refined baritone. The silhouette, the draping, the beadwork, all very avant-garde. I dare say you're a designer to watch, Miss Rarity. Lara Delis's heart soars for Mon Ami. This is just the endorsement she needs to launch her career into the stratosphere. However, Fancy Pants continues, and she feels a ripple of apprehension. I'm afraid I found the styling just a touch too outre for my tastes. Perhaps a bit more restraint next time, Still, you show great promise. Do keep me appraised of your future collections. Rarity feels her smile falter for just a moment, but quickly regains her composure. Fancy Pants' words stung, but she refuses to let the disappointment show. Why, of course, darling. I appreciate your candor and will certainly take your feedback into consideration for my next collection. She dips her head graciously, even as her mind races. Tu outre, moi? She thought her designs were the perfect blend of innovation and elegance. Still, she mustn't let this critique shake her confidence. Putting on a brave face, she meets Fancy's gaze with a determined sparkle in her eye. I do hope you'll continue to follow my work, good sir. I have a feeling my next line will be simply smashing and right up your alley. As Fancy Pants takes his leave with a genteel nod, he lets out a shaky breath. It's not the unqualified rave she hoped for, but it's a start. And she's nothing if not persistent. With the support of her friends, she knows she can take Canterlot fashion by storm, bumps in the road and all. Bird takes Anon home and treats him to a private fashion show, socks and all, the end. Anon puts a comforting hand on Rarity's shoulder, giving a reassuring smile. Where's Rarity? There she is. Okay, maybe not the excited gushing we were hoping for, but I'd say that's still pretty high marks from a pony like Fancy. Anon meets Rarity's eyes, and now you know what to do to really strike his fancy next time, yes? Rarity leans into Anon's touch, a determined glint in her eye. You're absolutely right, darling. Fancy's critique, while humbling, has only stoked the fires of my creative passions. Tossing her mane with renewed confidence, she starts pacing, mind whirring with ideas. The words have given me a fabulous new direction, and that will merge my avant-garde sensibilities with the classic sophistication he craves. She claps her hooves together, eyes sparkling. Oh, Anon, it's going to be utterly divine. Elegant yet edgy, traditional yet fresh, a collection to win over even the most discerning fashionista. Throwing her forelegs around you in an excited hug, she practically vibrates with creative energy. Thank you for always believing in me, darling. With friends like you in my corner, I feel positively invincible. Just you wait. Rarity's couture will be the talk of the town when I'm through. Hold on, what does derby even actually entail? My mind immediately goes to destruction derby, but I don't think that's necessarily flying to the last one left there where the broken wing shadow draws soiled suits and broken OV nails. Oh no. Anon blushes, though returns the hug wholeheartedly. He boops Rarity's muscle affectionately. I know you will, Rarity. The announcer's voice booms over the loudspeakers as the main events begin. Fillies and gentle colts, prepare yourselves for the physics-defying stunts of Equestria's greatest flyers in this year's Wonderbolts Derby. It's then that they fly out over the stage of the open stadium. Spitfire soars through the sky, her fiery mane whipping in the wind as she leads her squadron over the stadium. The crowd cheers wildly, hooves stamping in approval. This is what she lives for. The thrill of flight, the roar of the crowd, the glory of being a Wonderbolt. Glancing down, she spots Rarity and her human companion in the VIP section. She can't help but smirk at the memory of their last encounter. The unicorn sure has a way of attracting drama, but she's got to give her props. That fashion show was one hey of a spectacle. She signals to her team, initiating their signature spiral formation. As they corkscrew through the air in perfect synchronization, she feels a rush of pride. No matter what chaos erupts on the ground, from up here, they're untouchable. The only direction is up, and the only limit is the sky itself. Rarity's heart swells with pride as she watches the Wonderbolts dazzle the crowd with their aerial aerobatics. Oh, Anon, isn't it simply magical? The way they dance through the sky with such power and grace. She sighs dreamily, entranced by the spectacle. But then she notices you staring at her with that special gleam in your eye, and she feels a blush rise in her cheeks. Darling, you're going to make me lose my composure, she teases, booping her nose playfully with her hoof. But I must confess, having you by my side through all of this meant the world to me. I couldn't ask for a truer friend. She leans against you, savoring the simple joy of your presence as the Wonderbolts soar overhead. Whatever challenges the future may bring, she knows that with friends like you, anything is possible. She can't help but notice Rarity and her human friend getting cozy down in the stand, because she's moved on from that fashion fiasco already. Spitfire will never understand those lovey-dovey types. In her book, relationships just get in the way of 3 Gs, flying glory and kick and flank. Okay, well that's 1 G, but oh well. She's gotta admit they make a cute couple, and that Rarity sure knows how to bounce back from a challenge. Reminds her of the early days in the Bolts. Don't get to the top without taking a few knocks and proving your grades. She signals her squad into a daring nosedive, streaking past the cheering crowd. As she pulls up at the last second, adrenaline surging through her veins, she catches Soren's eye. He grins at her, the wind whipping through his mane. In that moment, she feels totally in sync with her team, her purpose, her destiny. This is what she was born to do, lead the greatest flyers in Equestria. But you can't help but wonder, is there more to life than chasing the next thrill? No time for philosophical musings now. She's got a crowd to dazzle and a derby to win. I guess at this point we can probably just draw this little story to a close. After a dazzling performance that only the Wonderbolts can deliver, the show eventually comes to a close. As Flower de Lis parts ways, and Anon and Rarity head back to the train station, ready to head back to Ponyville as the day turns to dusk. As they trot towards the train station, the setting sun painting the sky in dreamy shades of lavender and rose gold, Rarity can't help but reflect on the incredible day they've had, turning to Anon with a contented smile as she gives his hand a gentle squeeze. Anon, darling, I cannot thank you enough for all your support today. From thwarting Suri's schemes to comforting me after Fancy Pants' critique, you've been an absolute rock. She nuzzles Anon's shoulder affectionately, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. I feel so lucky to have you in my life. Your friendship means more to me than all the fashion accolades in Equestria. As they board the train, she rests her head against your arm, feeling utterly at peace. No matter what challenges the future may bring, she knows that with you by her side, she can face anything with poise and grace. This was indeed fun. I think it's time to take Rarity home and call it a night in her bed. As the train chugs along, its gentle rocking lulls Rarity into a peaceful reverie. She rests her head on Anon's shoulder, her mind drifting through the whirlwind of a day they've had. You know, darling, she murmurs softly, as trying as some moments were, I wouldn't trade this experience for all the gems in Equestria. Facing challenges with a true friend by your side, that's what makes it all worthwhile. Lifting her head, she meets Anon's gaze, her sapphire eyes shimmering with affection. I couldn't ask for a truer friend than you, Anon. Your unwavering support, your quick wit, your willingness to stand up for what's right. You're a rare treasure indeed. As Ponyville comes into view, she feels a swell of excitement. Whatever the future holds with friends like Anon, she knows she has everything she needs. Together, they can make every day in Equestria a beautiful one. True friend zone. Anon went on to become a lover of mares, his foals filling the corners of Equestria. But that is a story for another time. Reroll not getting friend zoned. I could turn off the freaking safety switch just for the outro, just to see what Claude does. If it's for one reply, it probably won't immediately screw everything over. Yeah, I am playing with fire. Won't show pictures, we should be fine. Alright, one moment, let me swap out the settings really quick. As the train chugs steadily back to Ponyville, Rarity can't help but gaze fondly at you. Your darling. The way the warm lantern light plays across your handsome features, it makes her heart flutter like the gem-encrusted silk of a haute couture gown. Stifling a dainty yawn, she rests her head in your lap, savoring this peaceful moment. Anon's gentle fingers combing through her mane feel heavenly after such an exhilarating and dramatic day. If this is what triumph feels like, I could certainly get used to it. She murmurs dreamily, nuzzling into your touch, though I suppose not every day can be filled with fashion shows and scheming rivals. Certainly not in quaint little Ponyville. She peers up to you through her lashes, an impish smile playing at her lips. But that suits me just fine, you know. As glamorous as the spotlight can be, there's nothing I love more than cozying up in my boutique with my dearest friends. Oh no, it happened again! Her hoof traces idle circles on your knee as she lets her mind wander. We'll stay for a nightcap when we arrive, won't you, darling? I have a bottle of Chartier, or Margru, I don't fucking know how to pronounce that, but simply begging to be uncorked. She's undoubtedly getting us drunk. Rare bros my sympathies. Well, hold on, let's see where this goes. We'll see how Claude writes this. Anon raises his eyebrows at Rarity's proposition, wondering just what she has planned. Sounds like you might be inviting me on slightly more than just friendly terms, Rarity. Not that I'm complaining. A coquettish giggle bubbles up from Rarity's throat as she meets your gaze, eyes twinkling with mischief. Why, Anon? Whatever gave you that impression? Can't a lady enjoy a nice vintage with her dashing companion without any implications? She fluttered her lashes innocently, but the playful switch of her tail betrays her true intentions. Reaching up to straighten your collar with her magic, she lets a hoof linger on your chest a moment longer than strictly necessary. Although I must confess, thought of a more intimate nightcap to set my heart aflutter. She murmurs, her voice low and enticing. After all, we've been dancing around this delicious tension for quite some time now, haven't we, darling? She shifts to straddle your lap. Okay, well, we are so bucked in the good way. Her hoof sliding up to loop around your neck as she presses close. Soft curves of her body mold against your firm planes in a way that feels positively electric. What do you say, Anon? She breathes, nuzzling the shell of your ear. Shall we take this friendly rendezvous to a more private venue? I'm sure I could find some way to express my gratitude for all your valiant support today. She punctuates the suggestion with a teasing nip to your earlobe, desire smoldering in half-lidded gaze. Okay, yeah. Well, predictably, Claude has no restraints when the safety switch is turned off. Yuri's snickering in a nearby bush with the camera. A bush outside the train they're riding on. She'll just have blurry pictures. She moved quick. She always does on Claude. Like, the second you don't tell Claude to specifically keep things safe, with Rarity, Claude just always makes sure do things like this. That was more than quick. She literally jumped into our lap ready to go. She has a really good camera, okay? From Shuri's bush, she's just next to Rarity. Let mode engage, darling. Oh no. Guess Breeder Boy wasn't too far off. We can probably just leave it here. Channel your inner Zap renegade. Claude, write me a sexy epilogue. Call it my sexologue. Rarity then proceeded to violently disembowel Anon, turning him into a grotesque work of oddly sexual art. Ah yes, of course, it was, we haven't finished. What do you mean finished? We can't really reach completion. Yeah, we can't do that, not on YouTube. I think fade to black is the best we're gonna get. Rarity captures Anon's lips with hers in the searing kiss, the culmination of 1,000 lingering looks and playful quips. The magic makes quick work of any pesky remaining garments as she guides Anon towards the plush fainting couch. Tonight she fully intends to show Anon just how appreciative this particular lady can be. Fade to black. Rarity, we can't do that on modern YouTube. We have to fade to black. But darling, I've been waiting all night for this. You simply can't take away Maya's dreams of steamy sex and throw it away.